Welcome to the 71st edition of the Black Lincoln Collective podcast. Tonight, we have author Dave Edward on. It's going to be a great show. Hit the music, Alan.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Welcome to the Black Lincoln Collective podcast.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. We can stay up late, swapping manly stories, and in the morning, I'll make it pop.
With your host, Parker. Featuring the sultry sounds of Fred and also Alan on the board.
Let's go already!
And now, let's start the damn show.
Welcome, one and all, to the 71st edition of the Black Lincoln Collective podcast. I am, of course, your host, Parker, and I am joined, as usual, by my main man, your boy, Freddie.
What's
How's it
up?
going, right, Freddie?
All right, we're doing good.
And, of course, Alan on the board.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't think he was going to get it.
I forgot.
Today's the day.
I was waiting.
So we have got a humongous show for you guys tonight. Author David Edward is about to join us any moment now. As soon as Alan tells me, or Alan brings him on, we can't wait to talk to him about his new book and his 45 books. Fred, I've never written 45 pages
books
of something.
Yes, 45 books.
45 books.
There he is, Alan. No fanfare. You got to get the
Fellas,
Where's the live studio audience?
That's like a $40,000 intro.
It wasn't until Alan screwed us up.
Did you guys write that music? That's like powerful stuff at the beginning of this thing.
Enough time tinkering, hopefully you get something good.
Yeah.
So that's probably arguably the best part of every week is our intro.
This is the beginning.
Yes.
Well, the first 30 seconds are the easiest to get someone to watch, so I think that's
True.
a good strategy.
There
Yeah.
you go.
So speaking of that, of course, that's YouTube knowledge, of course. So welcome to the show, Dave. How are you this evening?
I'm good, Parker. Thank you for asking. How are you, sir?
Oh, doing great. We're
Good.
really excited to have you on. I'm excited to tell everybody, all of our listeners, check out Dave's YouTube channel. It's at A History Of. So youtube.com/@ahistory of. And of course, you have your new book that just came out not too long ago, Atlanta Solved, the Final Definitive Proof. And you were telling, I know you hear it all the time, I'm sure. But so you were telling us right before the show that's kind of the information that you're covering on your channel.
Yeah. So a history of it's a brand new channel. I just launched it about 10 days ago. And the first thing I'm doing, the first season of it is, to do a deep dive into the Atlantis stuff, which is taken off pretty good. People seem to like it. There's a lot of good information in it.
Well, when I told the guys we were going to have you on, the first thing they said is like, "Oh my God, he's talking about Atlantis." So Fred is definitely interested in that. Alan is too. I think it's really cool.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But they have some questions. We'll get to those questions maybe in a little while because I don't know if they're really honestly appropriate or not. But we'll build up to those. So Dave, you've written, you said 45 books now.
I've written 45 books. I just started writing books about 3 years ago. So I was busy, during the pandemic. What was I going to do? Right.
Yeah.
So I read a bunch of books.
That's
In
crazy.
fact, I used Grammarly to check, I'm check punctuation and stuff. I won the Grammarly Writing Award like in February of this year. I wrote more words than anyone in a month that uses that tool.
Wow.
Right.
amazing.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's easy. All work and no play makes, David Dull Boy over and over.
So where did it start? Did you start with, I know you had said you've written some fiction and then some historical content. So did you start with the historical and then move into the fiction or?
No, I started with fiction. Fiction's easier. So the difference is fiction you can make up. You don't have to do any research or work
That's
on.
right,
Yeah.
And historical stuff, it turns out if you claim something that, like, there are other people that claim they know about it, and then they'll comment on it. So the fiction was a lot easier to get started.
Right.
The history stuff, I like ancient history. Atlantis, I consider it ancient history. I consider it real history. So I like that stuff. And that's what I do is I take my books And then I when I researched the books, like I did a book called Prayer Drum, which is here. It's like the fourth or fifth book in that series. And so I had to research what the prayer drum, which it turns out it's an ancient African drum that was supposedly modeled after the Ark of the Covenant. And they had it like in Mali, and they had it somewhere else, and then there was a duplicate of it. So I did all that research. So I wrote the history book about the drum of God, and then I included all that in the story. So I kind of like was, doing double duty. So I wasn't
Double
wasting
dipping.
time on research.
Yeah,
What's that?
double
Yeah.
dipping.
Double dipping, yeah. Well, I'm a sleek, honed athlete writer, so no move goes to waste, right? Everything, there's no energy spent that isn't needed. So I do that with the books too.
We'd like to think that we're honed in some way, but we're not.
No, we're not.
I'm not either. If I were to stand up, I would, you'd see that.
So on those books, like for example, the ones you were talking about had what is Dick Lasher?
Dirk.
Dirk.
It's funny. Yeah, the character when people get mad at him, they call him Dick Lasher, but that's inside the story. The character's name is Dirk Lasher.
That's another book, Alan.
That's a different persona that writes those books. Yeah, the Dick Lasher books, they sell good, but
there's no substance though. There's no substance.
Yeah, there's very little substance. It's just very straightforward. You kind of know what's going to happen, but you want to take the journey with them anyway. Yeah. Right. The Dirk Lasher books, the Panama book starts with Panama Red, which we were talking off camera, and I have a military background, so I mean, saying like that sounds all impressive. I mean, the truth is, I barely made it out of high school, and then I dropped out of college, but I was smart enough to know, okay, I can't just skate. They hadn't invented medical marijuana cards yet, so what am I going to do? So the worst, I have, I'm watching, I'm like, and I don't vape. I've got the pills because I'm old and stupid, but anyway, but yeah, so I was like, what's like the scariest thing I could do? And it was the military. 'Cause I was terrified of it. I was a fat kid growing up in Florida, all that. And then I joined, when I joined up, it was 11 Bravo, which is an infantry soldier, like your classic, Army guy.
Right.
And when I went into that, you take this test called ASVAB test, and I scored really good on it. So I did a week of the infantry basic training, and then they pulled me out, and then they moved me over to a different MOS, 97 Bravo, counterintelligence agent.
Oh, wow.
So then I had to do basic training again. It was just a week, but the first week sucked. So I did the first week twice, and then and then I had a what's the opposite of storied? I had a non-storied military career. I was a very average soldier, but I had a good job.
Right.
And then I was in Panama as part of the team that arrested Noriega, and we killed all the police, and we cleaned that up. That was kind of a mess. Yeah. And then I went to the Soto Cano Air Base in Honduras. I don't know if you remember all this. This was during the war on drugs, and you had Iran Contra, which had just happened earlier. Your dad would have been there during Iran Contra. And they were flying into the Soto Cano Air Base. And that's where they were running the arms through, and they drive them up into Nicaragua to get them to the Contras. Right. Well, that's the air base I went to. And I was there after all of that, but they were still flying the DC-9s up from Colombia, and we were confiscating. I was attached to a DEA task force. So that was cool. And then when I was done with all that, and I came home, the unit that I got assigned to, the 513th MI out of Fort Monmouth, 2 weeks before had been forward deployed over to Desert Shield. So I just got a plane over there. So I was out of the country for 3.5 years. And then I was
Jesus.
Wow.
That's all right, though.
Yeah.
But you're home now.
Home now. Now I don't go anywhere. I've been everywhere. I don't go anywhere now. Yeah.
That's a good thing about being young. You can go everywhere, and then you're like, I've been there. I don't need
I've been everywhere. Yeah, it's that Johnny Cash song, right? I've been everywhere, man.
I've been everywhere, man.
Yeah. But it's kind of cool. When I was in Panama, to tie it into Atlantis, I did the jungle survival training program, which is, I don't even know how I did it. It's one of those things, you don't do it, you just don't die. I'm pretty sure
you survive it. Yeah,
you survive it. It was 10 days, and at the end they cut the head off a boa constrictor, and everyone has to drink the blood. And that's the only way you're going to graduate. It was pretty gross. And it sucked because I'm kind of at the end of the line, so all the blood was gone. So I'm having to squeeze it. It's a nightmare. But anyway, after that, I took a vacation. And I went into the Dorian Gap, and about 2 days in, there's this big stone with like petroglyphs on it and stuff, ancient stuff on it. And I saw that, and that kind of like got me interested in things like Atlantis, because when it's one thing to hear about it or see it on TV, but when you see this stuff in person, it's just like it connects you so much to the people, because they're just people like you and me.
Right.
Only, I mean, I complain if it's not 72 degrees and the air conditioning isn't on. I don't think they did that, but just as smart as us or whatever. So it was just interesting. Yeah. So I kind of took that with me, and then I used some of my travel. I went to go see like the Pyramid of the Sun in Mexico City, and I went down to Peru and saw some stuff. So I used it being there to see stuff, and then I carried that with me. And then I was watching YouTube. I saw the Atlantis stuff. I was always interested in it, so I decided to research it and write my own book. And I had all that background kind of with me, so it was kind of good. Yeah.
Awesome. So can you tell me a little bit about Atlanta? I mean, I know obviously what Atlantis is, but
I like to tell me what you guys know about Atlantis, because it's one of those things I can blather on, but I'd rather hear what you know and then
we
tell you you're wrong and explain.
All I know is it's an underwater city with mermaids and
Lost
shit.
City.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the mermaid part isn't real, but like those are all the.
You're 100%. You're 100% wrong, but you're the host. I'm being nice.
Really?
Completely.
You mean to him? He's not the host.
I am not the host. I cannot host.
You all are hosts to me. I mean, to me, it's just a bunch of smiling faces.
Okay, so yeah, same thing. Lost City. Obviously, I don't believe that it's inhabited by mermaids and mermen.
You said it was
merman, but but I do. I don't know anything really more about it. I know what I've seen in movies. Seen on Futurama, which Futurama, of course, was the lost city of Atlanta, which was very funny. Because we're down here, we're pretty close to Atlanta ourselves. So.
I had someone ask me. I did actually had someone ask me if I knew where Atlanta was.
I
let it go as long as I possibly could. Like, I know exactly where it is. I've been there. The whole thing. And
they're like, whoa, oh my god, man!
All right, so what Atlantis is a lot of things. In casually, if we're casually here, Atlantis is two things. It's an idea and it's a specific thing. The idea of Atlantis is that maybe during the last ice age or before the last ice age, maybe our human past goes back farther than we think. That's kind of the brand. That's the Atlantis brand. Have you heard of Graham Hancock? Do you guys know? Have you seen his thing?
I have not.
No. He's got a documentary series on Netflix. Have you heard of Netflix? I know you're in California.
Yeah.
Oh, you have it? Okay, you have it. Okay.
Yeah,
it's the #1 show on Netflix right now. And it's called Ancient Apocalypse or something. But he goes over all of this. He's a very famous guy. And he characterizes Atlantis just as that. It's the civilization before ours. This guy, Graham Hancock, and I agree with him, think that something bad happened. And we have a date for it. It was about 11,600 years ago, about 9,600 BCE. It looks like something bad happened. And it involved maybe tsunamis and water and just earthquakes and a bunch of displacement. Right. It looks like it was really, really, really bad. So cities on the coast and stuff got wiped out.
Right.
Which is why we have a hard time finding them. He would argue, and I would agree with him again, that during this last ice age, we'll do the math. So an ice age requires ice. Right. So, I don't know. So, and the ice,
our understanding, yes.
And the ice comes generally from the oceans.
Yeah.
So when you have an ice age, it means you have lots of ice on the poles, the North and South Pole, or at least one of them, which means there's less water in the ocean. So if there's less water in the ocean's lower. And they think it was lower by like 400 feet. I mean, like a big number.
Right. Yeah.
So where I'm in Florida, and if the ocean was 400 feet lower, there'd be like almost twice as much Florida. It extends into the Gulf.
Yeah, it wouldn't be any Keys. It would just be Florida.
No, it wouldn't be any Keys at all. Yeah, just be Florida. It wouldn't be any Everglades. Yeah, it'd all just be Florida.
Right.
But then if the water but then everyone buys the beach homes, right? And that's where you set up. And then if the water raised 400 feet, all that stuff would be underwater. And so the question is, why don't we find anything? And the counter to that is, well, have we really looked 400 feet off of all the coast? And the answer is no, we haven't. So that's kind of the mystery of Atlantis. It's supposedly something bad happened to it. It sunk into the ocean, and that's where you get into Aquaman. Have you seen Aquaman?
Right.
What's the one they just did? Black Panther. They had
Yeah,
Namor.
Namor.
Yeah, same guy. Same. It's
Yeah.
just like Aquaman, you know. But they all come from Atlantis, right?
Right.
And they're always blue people, and they're advanced. They have nuclear submarines and lasers. So that's Hollywood. But yeah, the idea of something in the past that we can't find that was advanced, not like we are, but maybe like Rome. You know,
Sure,
where
for the
they
time,
were,
sure,
something like that. Yeah. So that's kind of Atlantis. And in the book, what I do is I go through the source for the story, which is from this guy named Plato, and I kind of say, okay, let's assume he's telling us the truth, that what he believes, because he says he believes it to be true. Let's say he believes it to be true, and if we take it as truth in history, what can we figure out where it is?
Right.
And then, of course, I do figure out where it is, so I can tell you where it is if you want.
That was going to be my next question, but I didn't know if I didn't want to.
Spoil I don't want to spoil your book. You know, I mean,
well, you know what? Can
you give us a region, maybe?
What's that?
Maybe in the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, now that's a very studied and intellectual question, answer, whatever. So what we know that Atlantis has a relationship to the Atlantic Ocean. As a matter of fact, the king of Atlantis was named King Atlas. And they named the Atlantic Ocean after the King Atlas. They named Atlantis after King Atlas. Now, here's the interesting thing as we start to hone in on it. Do you know there is a mountain range, a big ass mountain range in Morocco called the Atlas Mountains?
Wow.
I was not aware of that.
It's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Interesting, right?
Yeah.
And we can take pieces like that, all, you know, and I line up there's like 50 pieces like that. Line it all up. The place that fits what Plato said is this thing called the Richat structure, Richat, which is in Mauritania, which is in the Western Sahara and Mauritania is below Morocco on the coast, the west coast of Africa.
Right.
And I can speak for hours going through all of the details on why that's where it is. Yeah. But basically, the thing we find, if you go to Google and you type in Richat and go to images, you'll see the images of this thing. It's a very famous location. Many people have thought it was Atlantis, but no one's proven it. They didn't do all the diligence. And the first thing about Atlantis that a lot of people know is that it's like a ringed city, right? So there's like a center island, and then there's alternating concentric circles of land and water.
Right.
And in 9600 BCE, this Richat thing in the Western Sahara would have been in a rainy environment, so it would have been in a lake. So it would have been, pull it up.
Maybe.
Teasing you. You still using dial-up? You know, they have a new.
Well, I know what you're talking about.
He froze.
Talking about the ring.
Yeah.
I know.
So,
I remember seeing they talked about that the ring and when you said the King Atlas and all that. So, you know, a lot of people think it's like in the Bahamas side, but I've heard people say that it was in the other side based on because Plato knowing.
Well, what Plato tells us is that the Atlanteans they became warlike after a long time. They were advanced, but they became warlike, and they conquered Libya and all the way up to Egypt, and they conquered the northern part of the Mediterranean, Europe, and all the way to Greece. And then the Greeks, and when we say Greeks, they're really Proto-Greeks. We can get into there's lots of historical nuances where historians get mad at you if you influx a word wrong. So it's not really Greeks, it's like Proto-Greeks, but whatever. We know there are people there. Right. And those people beat the Atlanteans back all the way to their capital. So what I always tell people is the Atlanteans are kind of bummers because they weren't very good at war. They lost to these Proto-Greeks, you know, and all that. So, you know, yeah. But when you look at this place, so we found what they call Neolithic tools. Now, Neolithic is it means neo means new, and lithic means about stones. So new something about stones. It's really just the Stone Age. It's the new Stone Age, right. And it's in 9600 BCE. We were in the new Stone Age. So people were cavemen, basically. Right. We were also in what they call the pre-pottery Neolithic. So this is the part of the Stone Age before people figured out they could get dirt wet and cook it and make pots. So everything was made out of rocks. And we find all that there where this Richat structure thing is. And then if you look at it and you imagine it as in a lake in this middle of this beautiful, fertile plain, you can grow anything. And you know there are people there. I always say, Well, they're not. The people weren't idiots. Why wouldn't
Yeah.
I would go live on this thing? I mean, this
Yeah,
way the
right.
saber-toothed tigers aren't chasing me around, and
Right.
you know
yeah.
all of that. I mean, it's like it's the most beautiful place in the world to live, kind of.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's where I think it is, and there's obviously the book details all of that,
Sure.
Right.
and it addresses some of the criticisms because there's criticisms of this location too, and kind of gets into there's a whole world, just like everything else. There's a whole world, just like punters or kickers, the field goal kickers in the NFL. There's a whole science to how the ball is placed and where the laces out, the whole thing, right? So yeah, there's a whole world in the Atlantis world of nuance and details and stuff. But that's kind of the gist of it.
So yeah, check out what your Amazon page is probably the best way to pick up your book, or is there a better way to
frequency99.com is the publisher's website. The 9's are numbers, so frequency99.com. I think that's got links to the podcast too.
Okay.
Or not podcast, the YouTube channel. I know you guys are podcasters. I am video blogging. I don't know what the hell I'm an old guy. I don't know all you kids and your terms. I don't know. Get off my lawn.
No.
Yeah. No, I know. My son tells me all the time about things and especially YouTube, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
He's like, well, Mr. Beast did this or that guy, and I'm like, I don't know what those words mean,
Yeah.
son. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So Dave, which do you prefer? Do you prefer to write historical books, or do you prefer fiction?
I prefer to write the fiction books. They're a funner experience to write, and there's less people who have a negative opinion about what they're talking about. And I said, it's like Atlantis. I was so naive when I entered into this space. It's just like Atlantis is just like politics. It's just like, we have people that really believe this or that, right? Left or right, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And Atlantis is the same thing. There's 10 or 12 different locations around the world that different people think is Atlantis. And man, if you think it's A, or if I think it's A and they're in Camp B, it's a holy war, man. I had one guy call me. And this was back when I had my phone number on the website. And he's crying. And he's like, dude, why are you taking this? He's like, this is all I have. Why are you taking this away from me?
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, who is this? What are you talking about? What? And he's like, yeah, I did a regression and I was the assistant scientist who ran the death ray crystal. When Atlantis blew up, and I remember I was in there with the main guy, and I was telling him it was going wrong,
Right.
and now you're here. You are you're systematically unraveling all that. I'm like, I don't know.
Are you the guy bringing my pizza? Is that what's going
on? Sorry,
but it's just weird. I'm like, well, I'm just doing it because I think it's interesting.
Yeah,
and I think that as a society, it'd be good for us to kind of know our true past, kind of thing.
Sure, yeah.
But I certainly wasn't trying to make some 75-year-old guy
Ruin his
cry.
Make an old man cry.
Yeah, I made an old man cry. Yeah,
That's funny.
Atlantis is evil.
Atlantis
is evil, man. It's evil.
Yeah.
I guess, like you said, I mean, that's that story's as old as time, for as far as everything's concerned, and so I mean, everybody grew up here and whatever, and I guess you kind of, you make your decision,
Well, this guy, I was on. Have you heard of Coast to Coast AM? It's a big show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was on that. This guy actually called in when I was on it. So you can listen to the first time I met him, then he called me after. And I'm like,
took a number down after that.
Yeah, you pick up fans. Everyone thinks they want to have fans, right? We all want to have subscribers and clicks. No. You don't really want fans.
No.
I want the way far away number rolling up, but I don't really want fans because they have opinions.
Yeah,
sure, yeah. No, we live in constant fear of being canceled for saying something stupid. But it doesn't matter.
It's almost impossible. This isn't a challenge, but I'm not on any social media. I told myself I'm off of everything. My publicist handles everything.
Right.
So yeah,
Amy, lovely lady. Yeah. And it's because just like I'm trying to sell books. I can't risk. You got to focus, saying something and then someone not wanting to buy the book because of what I said.
Right.
I didn't mean it. Buy the book.
Exactly.
I'd have more about what I said in the book.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome, man. So, can you tell me a little bit about the Abraxian Wars? Did I say that right? Abraxian?
Oh, the Abraxian Wars, man! You did your research. You're looking at me. You're looking at my author page, right?
No. I was looking. I'm interested, man. I love to read, and I have a 10-year-old son who's just starting to get into reading really hard. So
Well,
I'm trying to like encourage, and he likes cool, like, sci-fi kind
it'd
of.
be a good book for him. All of my stuff is clean. It's PG at worst. It will get a little violent, but
Sure.
there's very little sex, and there's practically any bad language. There's enough in the
You gotta,
story, but
keep it
when they
on.
go in the bedroom, the door closes. It's not that kind of book, so it's very
Right,
safe
yeah.
for kids. I think the sci-fi book is great. About half the people that read it think it's shit. The other half it kind of resonates with, but it's the kind of sci-fi I like. I mean, it is like deep, 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 hard sci-fi.
Right.
So yeah, and everything I do kind of revolves around something in history. The Abraxan Wars, the idea behind it is 50,000 years ago, the solar system was populated, and there were races and people and wars and a whole thing going on. And then this one group is a group, they call them diggers, because they've got to go dig resources on the mineral planet, which of course is Earth. We don't call it that, but yeah. And then of course, chaos ensues, and there's robots and laser fights, and I think I love it. I read it. I mean, I read my stuff. You have to read your stuff. I probably read that book like 15 times.
Really?
Yeah, but yeah, the Abraxan Wars, and then and there's a bunch of short stories too on that.
Well, say it's like it's a series, right?
Yeah, well, I think there's 8 or 10 short stories, and then there's 3 books in the series. The actual main book is free. You can download the
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah,
I
I
downloaded it a couple days ago. Yeah.
Go to frequency99.com and download the Abraxan Wars, and we'll read it together. Listeners, we don't interact with us.
Book club.
Don't talk to me. But listen to me.
And the good news is, with my books, you won't learn anything.
There you go.
No learning.
That hits us right in the sweet spot, Dave.
Yeah.
To be honest
Right
with
up
you.
my alley.
And that's funny that you say that, because you're like, half of mine are historical and educational. The other half, are just for shits and giggles.
Just for fun. Yeah, no, the historical stuff, obviously you learn something. And it's actually not true. The fictional books, you will learn all kinds of stuff, but you have no idea you're learning it. Because I make the story around, like I've got the other one, the Purgatory Oaths. I think that's free too. And that's all 3 books. And that's starts in 1875 Colorado Territory, right before it became a state, and then it goes into the Roaring 20s. But it's cowboys, gunfights, ghosts.
That's awesome.
It gets a little kooky with the spirit world crosses over, and we learn about all kinds of things. But
it's got all the good stuff.
They're all, I write pulp, which it's the stuff I like to read, and the stuff I read as a kid, which is, it's a good story, it's well written, but I don't have to learn, or there has to be a moral delivered in every single thing that I do and everywhere I turn. So it's escapism, which I think we need right now.
Yeah, we could definitely use more of it.
I think so. Yeah.
Who were, if you had to say, and you don't have to name if you don't want to, but who would you be like your writer influences? You know what I mean? Who are you?
Well, the guy I read the most was a guy named Lawrence Block, and I think he might be 88 or 90 now. But I actually wrote to him like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and he wrote back, and I've sent him maybe 3 emails, and he has written me back 3 times, which is, I can't believe he does it. I try. I'm humbled by it, and I can only hope I could be that gracious to people.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he's a genius. He's a brilliant writer. He did Walk Among the Tombstones. It actually got made into a movie with Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson,
But it's a book. The Matthew Scudder's the character, and it's just fantastic.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like John Sanford. The first maybe 10 Prey books, then it got stupid. But that, and then I mean, that's it. And otherwise, I usually read comic books, and Terry Pratchett. You ever read Terry Pratchett?
A little bit.
Discworld. I've read all like 25 books. I've read them all.
I couldn't. It was too many. Too many.
Yeah.
But that's amazing, man. No, we always like to know, because some people listen to, they like I said, Terry Pratchett or somebody, and they're like, oh, well, that's gonna that's gonna lead me into you. So that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, so tell me a little bit, if you don't mind, how cool was it to have End of Reason reach #1 on Amazon and Kindle?
That was cool. What was really cool is the Atlantis book reached #1 in the ancient African history category. Oh, wow. And it was 2 spots ahead of this guy, Graham Hancock, who's world famous for like a month. So that was cool.
Yeah, that's a big
Panama Red actually made it into the top 100 of all books on Amazon.
Wow.
Not for very long, but for long enough.
Hey,
so,
right.
no.
Still got it.
Yeah. So that was amazing. So I'm they kind of kiss it and then they fall off. Kind of kiss it and fall off. But the end of reason I think that was the first one that did it, and it's really weird because you're staring at it and you're like, how is this number one? It's a stupid story about space marines invading a spaceship. Who even knows who wrote it? But so I've had 4 or 5 hit number one. That one was the other one, Unreasonable. The one that came out after that was like number one as a pre-order for like a month, which was pretty cool. Yeah, so
that's amazing, man. That's really cool.
Overall, if you count all my books, I've sold like about 125,000 books.
That's amazing, man. That's awesome.
100,000 are this one, Panama Red. That's the one that took off ish.
Yeah,
I mean 100,000 is not,
dude. 100,000 is amazing. Don't sell yourself short, Dave.
No, it is. It is amazing, but it's not Stephen King numbers. It didn't break me into it, but it got me so I understood what it is. I see what I'm playing for. Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that one of the first books you wrote, or
the first book I wrote was called Alamosa, which is a western, and then I wrote. Then I did the sci-fi, and I did a bunch of the sci-fis, and I did the short stories because I wanted to be able to write action better. So actually, some of those sci-fi short stories were me learning how to write action.
Oh, okay.
And then when I had those done, I did Panama Red, which so I was mature enough as a writer, and I was holding off all my personal experiences. It's not autobiography, but I mean just write what you know kind of thing. Right. So it takes place in Panama in 1988. So, when they're raiding the PDF stations or they're in firefights or in helicopters, it's all stuff that I saw firsthand. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm told, everyone tells me it comes through. I didn't realize it was going to come through. They even tell me it's kind of a dark book. I thought it was a fun adventure book. So the next one I did, which you can't see, called Drive Faster, is pure, because I made it pure adventure. I mean, I didn't want it to be deep and heady and all that. That's not what this series was supposed to be about. But what wound up happening was Panama Red, the first one, Panama Red, then the middle one, Ground Game, and then the last one, Down Ballot, were kind of dark and that's not what they are. But they're more bad things happen. It's harder for the characters, and then the two middle books, Prayer Drum and Drive Faster, are much more adventure-y. I think Prayer Drum is my best book. I love that book. It's like Raiders of the Lost Ark and the Dorian Gap. So, yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can see. Yeah. I mean, they all, and you can see they do pretty good. They don't have a ton of reviews.
Dude. No, that's great. Hey, I mean, in the world as big as it is, and as many people are efforting to do this stuff, I mean, you got to take your victories, man.
Yeah.
Well, like we definitely feel that. I mean, we're a little podcast here, but whenever we do something cool or something exciting, we're like, hell's yeah, man, we did something.
Absolutely. And you got to keep doing it. This is episode 71 for you or whatever. Right. That's what I learned. I always used to criticize. So, I mean, look, guys, I was president of Aspen University for years. I've got a PhD in engineering. I've got 3 master's degrees. I mean, I've done it all. I was a CIO at Marriott, the hotel company. And I used to tell people, I used to get mad at people and I used to dress them down. I say, look, I don't give a shit whether you want the next job. I need you to do this job.
Right.
And I realized I was doing the same thing that I criticized all these people for, because I'm an author, I'm doing all this stuff, like you said. And I'm like, I don't want to be an author. I want to be a famous author. Well, that's the next job. Mm-hmm. You got to do this job. Just like you guys, you want to be, we got world famous podcasters. Okay, well, you got to be podcasters first, and then you can be world famous.
Man, that's really all we're going for is free dinners. Occasionally.
Free dinners, well, okay.
I mean, that's a win. I would like to have a sandwich named after us personally.
I saw that. We talking about that in your last. We talking about in your last.
We talk about.
Okay, I'm having deja vu. I watched it too close to this. Yeah.
But no, I mean, like you said, yeah, it's hard, and you just gotta, you gotta work hard at what you do, no matter what it is, and just toil away.
Yeah, and don't get discouraged, and don't get mad if it doesn't happen for you, if you don't have the luck. Right. And I always tell people this, and now I'm having to live it. Don't look in someone else's pocket. Just because someone else is doing what you're doing, and all of a sudden they're having success, and they didn't work as hard as you are, and you don't. So what? Right. It doesn't matter. All you can do, pedal the bike.
Nobody's journey is the same.
Yeah, and just don't look in someone else's pocket. Just because I'm an old guy, and I'm on YouTube competing against kids. So, but you got to do it. Is it embarrassing? A little bit, but you just got to do it.
Well, I'm sure it's got to be the same thing. Like, for us, it's the same thing where we felt it was a little scary and a little, like you said, embarrassing when we first kind of put ourselves out there. You know what I mean? And said this, like, gave ourselves to the world and said, "Here, do with us as you will."
Right.
And like, and it can be discouraging. It's definitely scary, but you kind of it also helps you to develop that shell of like, you know what, it doesn't matter what people say, we're doing what we're doing.
Well, you have to, and that's something else. Every criticism hurts. So no one is like I'm criticism proof and all that.
Right.
But I've gotten criticized a lot, and I've gotten to the point to where I used to feel it. I don't feel it so much anymore. It always disappoints me. But what I've learned is listen a little bit, because there's probably a grain of truth in there. Yeah. And I'm now aware of the pattern. The pattern is always like someone will say, I went to read the Atlantis book and I thought it was going to be the greatest book ever. And this was a chance to save the world. And this fucking asshole typed this shit instead. I want my money back and I wish he would die. It's like, okay, I got the pattern. You didn't like the book. And now you have your pile on trying to make me feel bad.
Right.
Or
so you didn't understand it, or
whatever. Yeah, it's not fair.
They didn't agree with it,
Well, that's it. What does irritate people with the book is I took a very academic and scientific structure to it. So by the time you get to the conclusion, many people don't like it. But they're so frustrated because it's near impossible to go back through the 50 points and everything and unwind. They don't know why they don't like it, and they don't disagree with any of the logic in it. But they don't want that to be the answer. I get that a lot.
Oh man, I want
but
to buy this book.
It's the only way to do it, especially with something like Atlantis, which is kind of Kooksville. It's not Kooksville.
Yeah.
Kooky.
Well, it's a certain fringe of people, that enjoy it, and that's amazing.
I enjoy it. I love
think
it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I honestly, dude, I'm enjoying and loving talking to you about it. Honestly, having a great time. It's so cool that you. It's just really cool. It's cool to hear about your process and hear all the crazy stuff you've been through. And like you said, dealing with being in the public spotlight can be hard on a lot of people. So hearing because really said we feel the same way. We're like, whatever, dude. Just okay. Yeah. If you don't like us, that's fine. But you listen.
If people have only said generally nice stuff to you, and you have believed them, it's going to be really hard to be in the public spotlight.
That doesn't happen.
Well, yeah. As long as I mean, look, I've been married for 20. I don't know, how long have I been married?
We'll beep it out.
25 years, something like that. Whatever it is. So I'm used to not being right a lot.
Right.
So yeah, I just take those lessons and I push them out into the Atlantis world.
It inspires your writing. Well, Dave, thank you again. We're going to take a quick break, but it's David Edward, youtube.com at a history of and frequency99.com. Check out his books. I'm going to start downloading some tonight, and me and my kid are going to start reading them. And we would love to have you back on sometime soon. If you got anything coming out that you'd like to talk about, feel free to, we'd love to let you, pimp your stuff.
Sure. Yeah. You know what? Hey, and if your kid really is getting into reading, let me know. I'll send all my books signed to him.
Oh, that's amazing, dude. That's absolutely amazing. I will absolutely take you up on that offer.
Yeah. I'll send the Atlantis book too. He can be the first of the next generation.
He will too. He's like his mother. He's stubborn. So once he decides that something, like if he reads that, when he reads it and he says, I agree with him. There you go. No one can ever talk him out of it.
Right.
Okay. So good. I can start bringing on some of these podcasts with me, because sometimes they're not as nice as you guys about this.
Whatever. We're like I said, for us, it's in like an adventure, and it's just awesome to be able to talk to somebody who's doing something cool.
Yeah, because it's Atlantis, man. Everybody knows about it.
Well, more so than that, I mean, it's just you have and not to be gross or weird about it, but I mean, like authors and stuff like that, you just have just amazing brains, and like it's so nice to. We had a few weeks ago, we had a movie producers come on, and they were really, it was just so cool to hear their perspective on what they do. And it's same with you. It's great to hear your perspective on things.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I mean, the truth of the matter is though, it's just like, look, I've dug a lot of ditches. I've dug a lot of footers, and it's the same exact muscle, writing books or pretty much anything. And no, it is. Sure. It is. Cause I mean, look, it's 9:30 in the morning. It's freaking already 90 degrees. You got 20 more foot to do. You don't want to do it, but what do? You do it.
Yeah, you do.
And that you get up, you go, and I think that's the key to life. Yeah. If there's anything if I have any message, do the work. That's it. Do the work.
I agree.
And after that, I don't know what's going to happen to you, but do the work.
Heard him.
And the answer is always to do the work. If you're unhappy, do the work. If you didn't get promoted, do the work. You know what I mean? It's just that's always
doing it. Yeah, just do it no matter what. Keep working at it. Well, Dave, again, thank you very much for coming on. We had a great time, and we'll make sure to put everything in the description for the listeners, and we'll love to have you on again sometime soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I got another book coming out probably in about a month.
Okay, awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll get
yes.
it scheduled.
Yeah,
I'll talk to
yes.
Amy
Okay.
and get that scheduled then. Great.
All right.
So again, David Edwards, frequency99.com and youtube.com/a history of. The book is Atlanta Solved.
Atlanta Solved. There it is.
And you got to check it out. I'm going to definitely be checking it out. We'll be right back with some more of the Black Lincoln Collective podcast. Welcome back to the 71st episode of the Black Lincoln Collective podcast. Fred, I am so psyched up that we had David Edwards on.
Yeah, man.
I
he's
seriously
cool, man.
cannot wait to start reading his books.
Right.
I'm into it, man. Like, I love this stuff.
Yeah.
So you guys check him out again. It's frequency99.com, Dave Edwards on Amazon, or youtube.com/at a history of. And of course, you can also check us out while you're there. youtube.com/at BLC Podcast. That's us. BLCpodcast.com. I forgot I could do an announcer voice, Fred, and so I'm going to start doing it again all the time.
Oh, no.
My wife hates me. So,
Announcer man.
Fred, you know what time it is. It's time for what's become a bi-weekly. No, it's time for the America's favorite. It just happened last week and it's happening again, Fred. It's time for Fredline News.
Fredline News. It's like we running
Sponsored
out of
by
material or something.
That is my fart. Alan has his fart that he gets me with. I always get you with the sponsored by Bang
With
Bros.
the brain, bro.
Yeah. Wait till he changes it, and then I'm like, wait, it's sponsored by what? Sponsored by Dave Edwards.
Bang pose.
Not sponsored by Riot Aids Everything, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, exactly.
So speaking of that, we were on before we do get to your first red line. Sorry, but,
Okay.
we were on Riot Aids Everything. Their show that just aired, their last one. You should come check it out.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is. Also check out the guys. They're awesome. Just check them. They're good. They're good.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Yeah, they're good dudes.
Not as
They're
good as
pretty
us,
much northern
pretty good.
Black Lincoln Collective, but
Right,
they
they're
go
the
by
northern
another name.
branch.
Yeah, the northern
Maybe we can
branch.
talk them into it. We'll absorb them.
Yeah.
But I think we might have a visitor coming.
Uh-oh.
So hold on one second. But yeah,
Maybe.
so also check me out on the Jock Doc podcast, which is a podcast that I was on recently, and I made an ass of myself. So make sure you see that because it was worth it.
The jock.
Yeah, so Fred, yeah, jockdocpodcast.com is the last one, and I literally used every accent that I could, which is 4 apparently. So it was something else, but you should check it out. They're really funny dudes as well. So check them out as well. Of course, now Fred, what is Fredline number 1?
Fredline number 1. So a small Buddhist temple in Thailand has been left without any monks after they were all dismissed. Can you guess why, Matt?
They all had the farts.
No. They all failed drug tests.
They drug test monks?
4 monks, including the abbot, tested positive for methamphetamine in the North Province of
In the northern province of Thailand.
Fetchabun,
Leave it before we get-
Thailand.
All right. So method, like meth?
Meth. That's
they making
messed
it?
up.
What?
That's so messed up, man.
He hit us right off the beginning, Alan.
How messed up is that? How messed up is that? 4 monks.
I feel like you got that whole. How many?
4 monks smoking meth at a Buddhist temple, and now there are no. What a mess! It's so messy.
That's amazing, Fredline.
They
All
stop
right.
monkeying around. Over
Wow.
It's just going worse and worse. I love it. So, all right. So, what's your Fredline news bit number 2?
there. Oh, okay. I was still on the
Sponsored
monks.
by Bang Bros. Oh, is
I
there
was
more
still on the
number
desert
one?
monks? But no, it's fine. They it was an undercover a crackdown. The police had said that they drug test all the monks and they all failed. And now the people don't have anybody to
Sell drugs.
buy drugs from.
I mean, I don't know.
I guess, yeah.
Don't have anybody else to buy drugs from.
People don't have anybody to worship with or whatever. Like, I don't know what monks do.
Yeah, what they did was the people would give the monks gifts, and the monks would bless them
and so
for
one
like
of
good
them
luck. Yeah, they would give them
crackhead.
food. Yeah,
He was like, I got this meth.
Wow.
they would have the little kids go up there and watch cartoons, on the TV. But
Johnny
then
Chimpo.
the TV, the TV disappeared.
1 week,
What happened to the TV?
The next week, all the statues were gone.
Yeah.
And then the next week, they were just in underpants and like.
Did you know them statues was made of real gold?
Good deal on that. That's crazy. Well, that's Thailand for you. I guess it's weird, but all right, Fred. So, what's Fredline news? Fredline news bit number 2.
Number 2. A Tulsa man fired shots at his family during a heated, drunken Monopoly game.
Sponsored by Bang Bros.
Police came. He went directly to jail. Did not pass go and did not collect $200.
It's terrible, man. I love it. So, okay, wait a minute. Run that one by me again because that was a quick one.
Okay, so East Tulsa man is learning what it's like to go to jail.
East Tulsa.
East Tulsa. Police arrested.
We should get Conrad and Shannon back on.
Yeah, maybe they knew about it. Maybe it was Conrad.
Check him out, conradio.com.
He seems a little wild.
Right, he could.
He could. He might have shot at that dude. They arrested him Saturday evening after he fired a round at his family during a heated, drunken round of Monopoly.
Damn.
It escalated quickly from family gun night to furniture being turned over and game pieces
night.
all over the floor.
Well, yeah, you got to. I mean, if you're going to shoot somebody, you got to flip the game over first.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
You got
That's
to turn
the
the
step
game
before
over.
shooting your family. Over.
They're not saying what started the argument or altercation, but he probably got caught stealing money out the bank.
Right. You know exactly what happened. Man. He was shortchanging somebody, or somebody was shortchanging him. They got real in Monopoly, dude. But that's the thing about Monopoly, Fred. Have you ever played a whole game of Monopoly?
Yeah. Oh, you don't want to play with me because I will crush you.
Hours.
I will crush you though.
No, you won't.
I will crush you.
No, you won't.
All right, we're gonna live stream again.
Black Lincoln Collective.
How many people
Monopoly.
can we have do Monopoly?
I think 6.
Yeah.
All right, we'll recruit our team, our squad.
Yeah.
We'll have a 6-way Monopoly live stream for 7.5 hours.
Yeah. We can get all our guests to be on one team.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Yeah. We'll work it out.
Yeah.
It's a great idea, Fred. I'm glad you had it. All right, so we'll get ready for that. That's gonna be our Christmas special. Live stream Monopoly for everyone to see. All right, so what's Fredline news? Fredline bit number 3.
Okay, it's kind of drying up in here, but
that's what she said.
Gotcha.
All right, here we go. We're gonna do one about Florida woman, not Florida man.
Oh,
so a Florida woman is suing Kraft for $5 million, saying her Velveeta microwave mac and cheese takes longer to make than advertised.
She's suing for how much?
$5 million. That's a lot of cheese.
That's a lot of cheese. You're right. That was a lot of cheese too, Fred. Double cheese on that one. Maximum cheese.
It's the cheesiest.
It's the cheesiest.
It's the cheesiest. Remember that guy that had that voice that did that? The Kraft voice
Yeah.
It's the cheesiest.
Macaroni and cheese. It's the cheesiest.
It's the cheesiest.
Yeah. She's saying that the box says that it takes only 3.5 minutes to prepare, but she must like hers extra crispy. But she's saying that it took 5 minutes.
Oh,
and I think what they're saying is 3.5 minutes in the microwave.
Yeah.
But she's counting the other 1.5 minutes to mix the ingredients, put the water in there, stir it up.
Damn.
Well, I mean, and she could have just a microwave that sucks.
What's her name? Karen? Is her name Karen?
No, it probably is.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be that her microwave sucks. So you can't Like, there's no freaking way she's gonna win that.
No, she's
And if
not.
she
gonna
does win it, I want part of
She's
it.
got it. Yeah, if she wins it, I'm gonna get me some.
You count all the times I made macaroni and cheese, and all that time, all those 1.5 minutes I wasted.
Yeah.
It'd be a whole. I could have solved all the world's problems by now. I could have been the next Elon Musk, but I was too busy making mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese. Yeah.
Nope, I've lost 17 minutes.
And then come to find out, it was your microwave.
Right,
Yep.
the whole
It was
time.
your damn microwave.
That's crazy. That's people for you, though, man. That's
is.
like, wasn't it in the 90s when all that frivolous lawsuit bullshit kind of started, where
Yeah.
everybody?
Yeah,
started
I think
suing
they
people
made
for
a law against that in California.
Yeah,
In California, you can't just come into court with these
like kangaroo
stupid
court or
ass
whatever.
frivolous lawsuits.
California IA.
California.
Indeed. That reminds me, tonight's show is brought to you by Hey Fred. It's Christmas season. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Did you know it's a Christmas? Yeah, Vizio. Sponsored by Vizio as well.
Do you wanna- No,
Vizio.
it's not Vizio.
It's Vizio.
It's Viz.
Oh, is it this?
No, we can see it in our
No,
case.
it's right for us, right?
It's right for us.
For the radio listeners, Fred has a gigantic orange Vizio sign directly behind him at all times. He has decorated it for the season. Which is lovely.
Well, everybody was shitting on my damn.
No, I get it. Well, your background was bare sheetrock, dude.
I know. Well, no, I had a towel up there, a
You
blanket.
can have a towel. Is that
Yeah,
making
it
better,
was a
Fred, when you
shitty
say it out
towel.
loud?
Huh?
When you say it out loud, does it sound better?
It does.
Like, I covered up the sheetrock with one towel. Why didn't anyone compliment
So-
me on it?
Do you want to know how I got this big orange Vizio?
I'm gonna guess off a box of some sort.
I did. I had to buy a TV, Matt.
Oh, you buy a new TV?
I did buy a new TV. Didn't have
Wow.
to, but
Why didn't you?
kind of
Did you
had to.
Did you do the Black Friday?
No, well, like-
tell us.
my son got mad
Oh no! Oh man!
at his
Oh,
video
dear.
game
Welcome to my
and
world,
threw this at the TV.
Fred. Okay, that
Wait,
doesn't seem like
uh,
that. Fred is holding a
busted
small
the
plastic
TV.
pick / comb,
It's a rat tail comb.
a rat tail comb, classic.
That busted the TV.
Hit it directly.
Oh,
Boom. Spider
popped
web.
it.
Spider webbed it.
You spider web his
Welcome
ass.
to my world, man.
Yeah, I know. You were the first person I thought of when
Welcome to my
that,
world, dude.
yeah.
It sucks. It sucks,
I
doesn't it?
said, motherfucker.
Oh,
like had
yeah.
that TV 5 years, and like
Yeah,
that
great.
TV had another good 5 years in it. You know what I'm
Great
saying?
TV. Yep. Can't get another TV like that one.
Nope.
Fuck that.
Nope.
Sad, buddy. I'm sorry to hear that.
So
That's the saddest. You know what, Fred? I'm gonna venture to say that's the saddest story that's ever been sponsored by Bang Bros. I don't think you're gonna, most of theirs usually end happily.
not the homeless 18-year-old girl who will do anything for
They
money.
give her like money sometimes.
Sometimes.
And that reminds me, Fred, tonight's episode, other than sponsored by Bang Bros, is also sponsored by seafood flavored candy canes, clamdy canes, Fred.
Ooh.
Some holiday traditions are so tightly associated with the Yuletide that missing them would almost mean canceling Christmas altogether.
That is
Clamdy canes
disgusting.
is not one of those.
Clamdy canes.
However, you can get 6 of them and you'll wish you hadn't. Clamdycanes.com.
Oh my god.
So, Fred, do you have any more Fredline newses for us?
No, I got some Hollywood news I want to talk
Uh-oh,
talk
let's
about.
hear it.
Okay.
What was the Wow, somebody's on it today, man. Somebody is on it
That
today.
was amazing. Now, don't fuck it up, Fred.
No, I'm not gonna fuck it. So, Clarence Gilliard died at age 64. Now, you may remember Clarence from great shows like Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
He was the black guy.
Right.
Matlock.
The black
He was
guy.
the black guy.
The whitest black guy.
And Top Gun, where he was the black guy. And coincidentally enough, in the movie Top Gun, his name was Sundown.
because it was dark.
Not saying that that's why his name was Sundown.
I think that's
But
what you're saying.
I can imagine. He was also like my favorite movie that he was in was Die Hard.
Okay, sure.
He was the black guy.
The other black guy.
Oh, there were two black guys.
There were two black guys.
That's what I'm saying, dude. He was the other black
guy.
guy.
Yeah.
There was three because
There
it
was
was the
three?
limo driver.
Oh yeah.
And then the
There
cop,
was
and then
Carl. Yeah,
Yep.
Carl, and then yeah.
So
Yeah.
he was black guy number 2 or 3.
He was.
He was the smart one.
He was smart brother.
Yeah, he had glasses.
That's true. Yeah.
Smart brother. Yeah.
R.I.P. to him.
So okay, another big death that just happened today was Christine McVie from the band of Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, Fleetwood Mac, but not
Really?
not
The
main
other
person.
girl. The other girl from
Right?
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Stevie
Yeah.
Nicks, but the
Wow.
other female
Yeah,
vocalist.
but she was apparently the writer. Yeah, and she was also the vocalist.
Yeah, she was a big writer for the
Yeah,
She was Fleetwood
Yeah.
Mac.
oh,
yeah.
she was the
Yeah,
fleet
so she passed
part
away.
or the wood part.
Yeah.
I don't know which one.
On
Do
a
you think they each put a part of a name?
what?
What?
They put a part in her name.
I said, do you think they each one of them was like, well, I'm gonna be called Fleet? The
Yeah.
next was like, I just want our name to be Wood. And then we're like,
Yeah.
no way, dude. Max the way to go. And they're
Max.
like, put it all together.
Stevie Nicks didn't get it. And she's like,
Yeah.
what about Nicks? You know what I'm saying?
Nick. And they're like, nope, too late.
Well, how about Stevie Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah, well, Fleetwood's Mac.
No, that
Yeah, get your goat ass out of here.
Oh.
On a happier note in Hollywood,
Uh-oh.
the trailer for Cocaine Bear was
Dude,
released
okay.
today.
So,
Oh
yeah,
my
we talked about
God.
Cocaine Bear. For you guys who don't remember, we
Yeah.
talked about it 2 months ago, probably.
Yeah.
And we're excited for it at the time.
Like the trailer makes me even more excited.
are you more excited
Like,
for it or less excited?
No,
I
I'm
watched the trailer
more
today.
excited.
yeah, I'm
I'm
I was
more
like, I
excited,
don't know,
man.
For some reason, I had it in my head that it was going to be a serious movie, and I
No.
really don't know why I had it in my head that it was going to be that.
Cocaine
So-
Bear.
Yeah.
So the first time I saw the trailer, I was like, "This is not what I expected." Like, I thought this was like a legitimate movie about a cocaine-fueled bear.
But this is a true story too.
Well,
Like
it's loosely based.
it's
on a true
loosely
story.
based on a true story.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's on.
Because
It's
this
going to be
bear
on
is
the big
fucking
screen, so it's
yanking
true to me.
people
Right.
through the forest and like disemboweling them left and right.
Well, what else would a bear on cocaine
The bear
do?
chased
I
down
mean,
an
do what?
animal,
What was that
jumped
movie? The Renaissance.
That was a great jump. That was
Yeah.
a great jump, man.
like,
Oh
The
man.
first time, I'm sure you can understand. The first time, I was like, I don't know about this, and then like I was like, let me see this again real quick, and I was like, all right, this is gonna be cool.
It's a good movie.
It's gonna be
It's-
interesting.
It's going to be good.
I think
It's on
so.
my watch list.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I get it. So, Fred, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you heard? And we've already well, no, we didn't do any food chat down here. We did some food chat on Ryan's show earlier. Have you heard of a dump dinner? I know you aren't eating right now.
A dump
Do
dinner?
you know what that is? Have you ever? It's a TikTok trend, and I've been
so
seeing them more and
hungry.
more lately. And it's driving me crazy.
And y'all were talking about food. Oh my God. I was like,
Fred
No,
hasn't.
a
Fred
dump-
can't eat tonight. So.
I know that.
Dump
We did-
dinner is when, okay,
I'm
not
about
to
go
be
take a dump dinner.
not to be racist.
Yeah, there you go. Dumped
I
it.
don't want to be racist about this.
Oh,
Fred.
here comes the racism.
No, it's reverse.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
anything, it's fine. So
Reverse
it's when white people
yeah.
put like all the food elements on the table, and everybody just eats it with their hands. You know what I'm talking about,
Man, what are you guys coming up with this shit?
right? I don't know, dude.
Forks,
Just
food?
put all the food elements. What
Yeah.
do you mean?
Yeah,
Like,
okay, hold on. I'm gonna
Like, put the food there, and then instead of using plates, you just eat
Right.
it with your hands.
right. You eat it just like you just eat it like with your hands, and it's gross.
What's wrong with you people?
Look, let me see if I can find it.
there is a African dish that's made
Fufu?
like that. Fufu. Yeah, you eat the fufu.
Yeah, but
with
you
your
still eat
hands.
it. It's still in a bowl. This is not even in a bowl.
So, are you talking about like a crawfish broil or something?
Almost,
No,
but like,
but
but not with stuff like.
You just put it on the table
You
and
would
just
do-
pick it up with your hands.
Fried
and eat.
chicken.
All right,
It
look,
just
here you go. So, all right, so watch. Here's what they're doing. All right, see, they kept it a surprise. They put all the food on the table.
That's not even
And then
hell
make the
no. Who
food
gonna
on
clean
the
that
table.
shit up?
Right. And so, look, at least they're using forks. I've seen it where that some of them don't even use forks, Fred.
Just use their hand.
Just like lick it up. They do nachos like that. Saw a lady do spaghetti and meatballs. One guy did had a party, and the whole party that was like the thing. And I was like, dude, I would not eat one fucking drop of food on that party.
Them kids gonna grow up and be
they're not gonna, man. Basically,
they're not gonna give a shit. You know what I'm
not
saying?
to clean and stuff, man.
Right, like you're just gonna do this where people can freaking see. Look, this party. Look at this. Look what they made. This entire plate of a whole freaking table.
Now we did that one time with like nachos. Is that ketchup?
That's spaghetti sauce. Well, it probably is ketchup.
That was ketchup. She was squeezing that out of a bottle.
Oh yeah, and those are some Olive Garden breadsticks.
Nah, man, come on.
So and there you go. And then you can be disappointed with that.
Fucking flavorless.
I'm telling you, it's a shame. It's a shame that it exists in this world.
Chef
I had to say something about it because I saw
grave, man.
And exactly. Well, you know what? I think everyone is rolling over in their grave in this situation because it's just gross.
That's nasty.
Like it's just gross, and like they just get it with their hands. Oh,
we did that with we had a party at the house and had like a taco table.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of
you had
different.
Like silverware.
But everybody got plates, and you and put it on your plate.
They don't have no plates. They just eat it off the table.
Just eating off the table, man.
Like animals.
Put it on the floor.
Might as well.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen. Is all of it's gonna end up on the floor of my house.
Right.
Jeez. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Fred. So that's my big news for the week. Is those?
Why'd you bring that up? Even yet? Come on,
just to ruin Fred's night.
Just piss me off, man. I can't eat nothing, and I gotta watch this shit.
No. I mean, it would have been nice if you put steaks or something on
there.
Yeah. Well, if I did that, I wouldn't be mad about it. I still would be mad about it.
But it would have bothered Fred more.
You don't just put it on a table.
Yeah, y'all were talking about tomahawk steaks.
I know. I did that on purpose too,
man. You motherfucker.
With a little bit of A1 sauce on it.
Oh, stop it.
Dripping from the bone.
I'm a fat guy. My stomach is touching my back right now.
I know, dude. I know
after the podcast, I ate some burritos and they were good.
Yeah, I had some eggs.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'm going to pig out tomorrow.
I know you are. Yeah, you're not going to want to.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be farting.
Yeah, there's going to be Freddie in the car.
Just keep your finger on that button, Alan.
Yeah.
It's going to be like this, actually.
Yeah. Oh, my colon. It keeps a rolling.
So gross. All right. Well, Fred, I think we're gonna call it a night. I'm gonna let you get some sleep before your big day tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta take
next week. Frederico will join us.
You gotta go to Grumpy.
No, that's the thing. I haven't done anything yet.
He's having a sex.
God, I've been drinking this stuff since 6 o'clock, and I ain't farted.
Keep saying colonoscopy.
Yeah, because you're not taking colon blow.
That's what I need, some colon blow.
Right,
that's what I
blow.
that was a great commercial, by the way.
Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
Thanks to our friends at Colon Blow. We're gonna have a lovely night.
Am I saying it wrong, Matt? Am I not having a colonoscopy?
No, that's correct.
Oh, okay,
you're right.
I mean, I don't know what you're having. I thought you were having a sex change.
That's what I thought so too.
What's the difference? I'm not a doctor.
I'm having an addictomy.
There you go. I think that's what I had. That's what the guys told me I needed. I think that's the last thing I need.
I'm sorry. I stole that joke from Ryan.
No,
okay.
It's fine.
It's
ours now. Credit. We've been around longer. It's ours.
Yeah,
right.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna get out of here. Before we leave, again, thank you to Dave Edward for everything, for coming on. Check out his book.
Yep.
Atlantis, what was it called, Alan? I should have had
Atlantis.
Final definite.
Atlantis solved.
Final definite.
Exactly. Also, Panama Red and all those other books on Amazon. Frequency99.com. I know we're so bad at this, dude. Frequency99.com. Don't forget about Clam Decanes. And of course, check out our buddies over at the Ryan Hates Everything podcast. You can listen for us, and it's probably going to be a fucking mess.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
It was the best. I'm sure it was the best.
Oh,
wait a minute. Every week at the end of the show.
What are you doing here?
We're talking about Ryan Hates Everything?
Yeah, we're talking about that guy.
Fuck him. That guy, I don't like that guy.
You're Team Steve, aren't you, Satan?
Yes, Team Steve. Yeah. Team Steve, motherfucker.
Steve and his mustache.
Yeah, Steve got a mustache, sexy mustache like mine. Yes. Right now, I'm doing a thrust move.
Oh, he's thrusting his
Yeah.
pelvis.
He's thrusting.
Yeah, I'm thrusting. There you go. How you like that,
I
Ryan?
can see it. I can see it in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Team Steve forever. Oh, damn it. I forgot to change my name again. Damn it.
All right,
Oh,
bye,
yeah.
Satan.
Oh, goodbye.
Oh, good night. All right. So yeah, check them out. Check out everything. YouTube, Facebook, all that stuff. Twitter too, and our Instagram and our TikTok. We love you. Thanks for listening,
Yep.
everybody. Eric, keep fighting. You're doing a
Yeah,
great
Eric,
job.
we love you, man.
And say good night, everybody.
I'll see you later.
BL Seasons greetings.
Oh!